Today. Without further ado, I'm going to get Rory going to get us started. Our first demo today is from Trumpet. So Trumpet is a platform that allows you to streamline your sales back and forth across all revenue teams into centralized, personalized, and trackable sales rooms. Rory's co-founder and CEO, and I think he'll be taking us through the next couple minutes here. So I'll pass the mic to you, Rory.
Cheers, Greg. It's great to be here. I'm assuming everyone can see me okay. We're going to skip past that bit. But yeah, I'm Rory. I'm the co-founder and CEO. I spent 7 years as a seller, as an IC, building teams, leading teams, and I was just obsessed with helping my team sell more quicker. And that always relied on technology. And what I saw when I was selling, in particular at Hotjar, was selling is hard, but really buying is much harder. And even in CS onboarding, that's tough. But as a buyer, implementing new software is harder. And I started to build Notion pages and Google Drive links to centralize all of that back and forth, the mutual action plans, the timelines, the demo recordings, just into one link. It was the first time ever in my entire career in sales where a buyer said, "Thank you for that sales process." That never happened before. And it was an eye-opening moment that buyers care as much about the experience as the product itself. My team started saying, "Hey, can you do that for us?" And anyway, fast forward pretty much 3 years, we're here today, and I'm super excited to be collaborating with Pavilion and being able to share Trumpet with the world and all of you today. As a very quick agenda, what we're going to cover in the next 8 to 9 minutes is I'm going to show you what Trumpet is. So we're going to go through the creation of one of these digital sales rooms, which I'll cover more in a second. You're all going to experience one firsthand. So I'm going to be putting a link into the chat, and you can pretend to be a buyer. And then we're going to save the best bit till last, which is the analytics, the behind the scenes. So just zooming out a bit before we go into Trumpet, why do we exist? Sales cycles are increasing. Win rates are dropping. Buyer behavior is changing. If you think of being a consumer, it is a dream. You go onto Amazon, one-click checkout. So you go onto an app and you have food at your door in 20 minutes. And this ease of purchase we want in the world of B2B. It doesn't need to be so difficult. And that's what we're about. Buyer enablement. Let's make it easy for your buyers to buy. And we do that by creating these centralized collaborative workspaces. Sales terminology is digital sales room, but we think of them as a collaborative workspace from pitch right through to renewal, so that we can enable your champions to sell when you're not in the room. But anyway, that is the elevator pitch out of the way. We built a brilliant product, so let's do the product, do some of the talking. I am now sharing screen, and I'm assuming everyone can see this okay. We're jumping into the world of Trumpet. I can't see any of you anymore, so I'm assuming it's all happy comments and things like that. I'll hopefully be able to answer the questions soon. So
we can see your screen. You're doing great.
Super. Let's crack on then. So in the world of Trumpet, we're not going to get too feature focused. I'm going to show you the day-to-day of what an AE, a CSM, an account manager, or someone in partnerships would be doing to create one of these spaces. Right now, the use case is for a sales rep after that first call. Digital sales rooms in Trumpet, all these spaces, they're built using a template. Think of a template just like a sales deck. Usually, we duplicate it, we personalize it, super manual. However, it does create consistency. That's what we're about here. So I'm going to show you the template I use for after that very first introductory call. Right, we're in the edit side of Trumpet, and there are 3 key building blocks to one of these collaborative workspaces. The first is up at the top. We have these. We call them pages. They're a way to organize the buying journey, but also help your reps know what to share when. As you can see, I've got some next steps, and here I have our mutual action plan widget. They're doing, mutual action plans are the talk of the town for a reason. They create accountability and visibility of what's happening when and things like that. If I wanted to add to this page and I wanted to add, for example, a video widget where I can record myself. Oh, I'm on the wrong account, so I have to upgrade. There we go. Can't have a demo without something going wrong. But it's a drag and drop microsite builder, as you can see here. So everything from documents to Calendly, DocuSign, Novatic, through to proposals. You've got pages that can contain pretty much anything to support the entire buying journey. So we've got pages, we've got widgets, and the third and final component I'm showing you in the world's fastest demo is what we call a variable, where it says company. Looks a little bit strange, but having these all over the template mean that as a rep, all I do is I'm going to create a pod, we call them pods, a space using this template. There is a two-way sync with any CRM. So we connect to opportunities and we send lots of signals back to help forecasting and also with those deal reviews. But for now, I'm going to show you from scratch. With a quick search, we're going to create one for OpenAI. And now what it's done is it's identified that this template has two variables or three. So company name, so we're going to put in Sam, and here's the CEO. And then what we do is we automatically personalize and automatically brand this entire space for Sam at OpenAI. With branding, we pull through their logo, background image, and their color palette, which we can then choose to use across different widgets or backgrounds as we like. You'll now notice the entire space is personalized for Sam and OpenAI. So whether you're working SMB deals, high velocity, whether you're working enterprise, long, complex sales cycles, you can start to build these personalized spaces. The lift is pretty much the same. So I'm just going to add a video there. And if we're really honest, 60 to 80% of a buying journey is quite repeatable. Similar information is being shared, similar next steps. So that can live in the template so that your team can spend more time on the things that matter, which might be, putting in the summary of the call. What are those next steps? And creating that compelling business case. We're not going to run through all the nuts and bolts of Trumpet because we're going to get Trumpet in front of you. So it is a link. Your prospects and customers, they don't need to download anything. They don't need to create an account. And there are lots of security settings, but for now, I'm just going to head back to the Pavilion site, put the link in the chat. So if everyone heads to the chat under event, you'll then be able to interact with it. So there is the link. I will now meet you on the pod because these are a live workspace. This isn't a boring static document. It is a collaborative space for us to engage, have back and forth, and interact. So feel free to put in a fake email if you don't want to use your own. But yeah, you're all going to now see each other and we can start interacting. So check out the pages up at the top. We've got summary, we've got next steps. You'll also notice on the right-hand side there is chat. Within chat, you can reply with a voice note, a video, you name it. Putting in a comment, we can have threads. There are even huddles. If you live in the world of Slack, I'm sure you love a good huddle, that quick back and forth. And that's what we're supporting. 95% of the buying journey is spent without your team. So how do you sell when you're not in the room? You equip your champion with everything they need to get to yes or no quicker with a space like this. You're speaking to a champion, they forward this site or this link to their team, you're then getting told who opens it when. You're supporting that in between of, you've just had a discovery call, you've got a demo in 2 weeks. What happens in between then? Why don't you support them by adding new content to this space, tagging those new buyers that open it, and creating a much, much better buying journey? So I know we've got pretty much a minute or two left. I'm going to speed through this. This link isn't going anywhere. You can check it out anytime. But what I'm going to show all of you is the best bit of Trumpet and why we built it, which is the analytics. So if everyone jumps back to the screen that I'm sharing, I'll show you the behind the scenes. We're going to head up here to Insights. And you're going to start to see what we see, which is our org chart. And in fact, I'm going to swap to another tab because I appreciate some people might not want their details being shared. So I'm going to show you this other example of what we collect. We have an org chart where you can start to map out the different stakeholders. This is really powerful because often we just speak to a champion. They then share that document with their team. We lose visibility who they're sending it to. With Trumpet, we surface those hidden stakeholders, so reps are multi-threaded automatically. Those new stakeholders are added to your CRM instantly. Beyond that, you're getting an overview, who opens it when they're interacting, where they're interacting, the type of viewer they are, what pages they're viewing. So I can also see, for example, on the proposal page, Ali and Sam looked at it, but not James because there are 3 stakeholders. So when we have that next call, I know how to follow up and how to navigate that conversation. Because that's what all of this is about, is working on the right deals at the right time in the right way to make a much more seamless and better buying journey whilst being able to forecast more accurately, increase your sales velocity, reduce that time to close. And I could go on, but I think we are at time. Greg, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think we're at time, Rory. It's fantastic. I mean, for folks that want to connect with Rory or have, questions, please type them in the chat or connect with Rory directly. I mean, just from my standpoint, Pavilion's a sales and marketing professional community. And, there's a lot of research that says the buyer has so much access to information nowadays. but they're going to make their decisions based on, you know, sales excellence, right? And I think that I've seen, you know, in my years that there's a lot of kind of like hack solutions. I've personally used like Excel to, you know, manage like a buyer room like this before. And I think it's a really neat way to differentiate the buyer journey. And I really like your part about selling when you're not in the room, because especially in this current climate, there's an extra layer of, you know, um, approvals that are needed from companies. And a lot of times you're not going to have access to the execs anymore. So you really need to empower your champions. So a lot of really interesting threads there, Rory. Thank you.
Appreciate it.